28-year-old Carrie Shankle was supposed to see her mother and father for an early Christmas visit, right after she filed a restraining order against her boyfriend, who had beaten her the night before. That was the plan she shared with her father, Randy Shankle. Before hanging up the phone, Randy heard a doorbell. No one knows for sure who was at Carrie's door or what happened, but it ended Carrie's life.
I went straight into the room where her body was laying, and they did have her on that machine that sustains life. And I went over and just lifted her eyelid up. There was a respiratory nurse in there at the time. I said, just take all this stuff off my daughter. I said, she's not here. And she said, now who are you? I said, I'm her daddy.
I just went over and started holding her and talking to her, just, you know, oh, my Carrie, you know, my beautiful Carrie, I love you, and I'm so sorry.
Finally, the charge nurse said there was traces of cocaine in her body.
Carrie's boyfriend was a drug dealer, and Randy suspected he had everything to do with his daughter's death.
I talked with the doctor, and I said, I want her checked from the top of her head to the bottom of her feet for the contusions. I said, she's got hair missing, she's got choke marks on her neck, and
Randy had been in the police force for years, specializing in drug arrests, so he knew a lot of people in the drug world. He talked to a number of them and did some private investigation into Carrie's case. He concluded that what he had suspected was true. Carrie's boyfriend had popped her a hot shot at her front door.
In the drug world, that's a shot of mixture of cocaine. Your brain just starts shutting down all your functions. And in fact, that's what the doctor said, that the overdose had, in fact, sent a lie to her brain saying, I'm busted.
Usually with hot shots, foul play can't be physically confirmed. That's what happened with Carrie, and soon her case was dismissed. The boyfriend got off with no consequences, while Randy was left with a heart full of anger and pain that only escalated with the rain.
And I had just been up for days, and I said, that's it. I can't take it. I said, all I can think about is her laying in that watery coffin.
In Randy's mind, it was time for action.
And I just went in there on the bed and started getting my stuff together, getting my kid out and getting ready. Because I knew I was going to do damage that night. I was going to go to the drug house where her boyfriend used to hang out.
His wife, Patricia, tried to stop him.
I needed to get his mind on something else. I needed to walk him through in the next 5 minutes, we need to get to another place.
Patricia had an idea. She got Randy into the kitchen where she invited him to look through the Blue Book, a scrapbook of all his accomplishments in the police force.
She used what I had done that helped a lot of people to put before my face and say, baby, you've helped a lot of people. You know, you tried to help Carrie. And it just didn't happen like you thought. But look at the ones you did help.
By daybreak, Randy had put his weapons away. Still, he questioned God about the injustice of his loss.
What's up with my situation? What's up with my pain? Where's my help? I thought you were my father. What's up with this? And that's when he started helping me to understand it. Vengeance is his. He showed me that, you know, justice delayed is not justice denied, that he will work all things to his good, and he'll prove himself out.
Carrie's boyfriend has since gone to prison for another crime, and Randy has battled with forgiving him.
And I'm like, God, if you don't fix me, ain't nobody gonna fix me. And I'm hurting. And this forgiveness thing I've heard people talk about, it don't seem to be real from somewhat I've heard them say. I got to understand this for me.
It took remembering his own experience with God's forgiveness to get there.
I didn't even know how to say Jesus. I just went to the altar. I said, God, clean me. And he said, you stayed at that altar for nearly an hour. And when you came up, you said, I'm clean, I'm clean, I'm clean. Why was I so clean? Because I knew I was forgiven. And he said, that's what you got to have again. That's what you got to have towards that man because you got to want them to be as clean as you was. This bitterness that comes from being a victim or you losing someone, it's like, it's a bitter root. It'll kill you. It's worse than cancer. You know, I don't want to sound cliches, but you get it out by trusting and obeying in your relationship with the Lord. There ain't nobody else can help you like your Father can.